What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news, finally, concerning Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. This is the official fight prediction, keys of victory, and breakdown, okay? And, of course, what we need a fair comparison between the two fighters with the tale of the tape. Okay, we have Anthony Joshua, age 34. Francis Ngannou, 3 years older at age 37. 30 fights for Anthony Joshua. Only one fight for Francis Ngannou in the professional boxing associations. 27 wins for Joshua. No wins for Francis Ngannou, although that was a very close fight with Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. 24 knockouts for Joshua, no knockouts, of course, for Francis Ngannou. 6'6" in height for Anthony Joshua, 6'4" in height for Francis Ngannou. 250 pounds weighed, but that fluctuates with AJ depending on who he fights. But his last fight, he was around this particular weight. And 258 for Francis Ngannou. Orthodox versus orthodox for both fighters. AJ nickname, the Predator nickname for Francis Ngannou. And let me counterpunch. I've thought about this fight a lot, simply because the last performances from both fighters were very good. You know, AJ stopped Otto Wallin, which Otto Wallin has never been stopped before. I don't even know if he's actually ever been dropped before, which he wasn't dropped. He was stopped. Okay, I think that's a little bit more impactful, because I think that time would have came if that fight would have remained. Bars. But Otto Wallin got busted up pretty good with a broken eye socket and a broken nose, and it was a very impressive win for AJ. Okay, now on the other hand, the loss for Francis Ngannou, was very impressive, because he was able to knock down the Gypsy King. And the Gypsy King thought about why he was there and how did he get there for just a minute, people. He thought about that, like, wow, what am I doing down here? You got there from a crashing left hook coming from Francis Ngannou. So scorecards were hella tight in that fight. A lot of people thought Francis would win. And I feel if they were that close, the knockdown should have differentiated the win for Francis Ngannou. But of course, this is boxing, the sport that we all love, that we all hate so much, right? So I don't think that would have been the case, because there was too much riding on Fury for future fights, like Alexander Usyk for undisputed and Anthony Joshua possibly in the future. Okay, so no, that couldn't work. A guy, an outsider, a former UFC fighter comes in and spoils everything. That wasn't going to happen, but it almost. So, based on these two guys, their last performances, they look good. Anthony Joshua, I think he's the favorite, obviously. I think the pressure is on AJ more, because people are now looking at him to do something that Tyson couldn't do. And this is the fight before the fight that he gets that he wants, to fight for a three-time world champion and undisputed, by the way. Because if he gets past Francis Ngannou, he fights the winner out of Tyson versus Usyk. Okay, so we either will see a Usyk for a trilogy, or we'll see Tyson the Gypsy King Fury finally get in front of Anthony Joshua to see who's the best in the UK realm of this era. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. And a lot's on the line. His Excellency Prince Al-Ashik is put a lot of money on the line and made it happen just like that, okay? And the fighting style for both, they're not similar, I think. AJ will come in behind the jab, waiting. Hopefully, here's the keys of victory, to make Ngannou respect his punches, because I don't think Ngannou respected Tyson Fury's punches. However, to be fair, let's take a look at Francis Ngannou for a minute. The durability, the chin, okay, that's on his side. He's never been stopped, okay? He's never been stopped by knockout. He's been stunned a few. He went up with against Derek Lewis, and Derek Lewis is a hard-hitting mother sucker, as we know. The man can hit, and they went toe-to-toe in a boring fight because nobody really wanted to overcommit, you know. But I'm looking at Derek Lewis being and having the knockout power that he had. If he couldn't get Francis Ngannou out of there, would you be so surprised if AJ couldn't? You know, I see Anthony Joshua boxing him for 10 rounds, showing him who's boss in this squared circle, you know, but doing it convincingly, okay? Doing it with some style, doing it with some conviction, you know, convincing the judges that, hey, I'm the guy, the former 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, and I'm boxing this guy that's a novice at best, and I'm showing him how it's done for 10 rounds, and I'm pacing myself. But at the same time, Francis Ngannou is coming right at AJ. Okay? That's going to be the challenge. Can AJ keep Francis Ngannou honest enough in the ring to keep him back from storming and running right over him like a Mack truck? Okay, that's what you're worried about. Now, can Francis hurt AJ? I think so. I think Francis can hurt anybody that he hits. Tyson Fury ain't in a pool by himself. No, he can hurt other people too. That's why I'm so excited to see Francis in there with another fighter. It didn't have to necessarily be a top fighter, though, to be fair. You know what I mean? Because I think he earned his right to be a boxer in this case, even though he's supposed to go back to the UFC MMA platforms. But nonetheless, he's here and he's earned his right to be here. And I see Francis storming AJ. See what he has. Because here's the thing. If he knows AJ can't hurt him or can't knock him down, the only opportunity now for him to do, the only objective, go in there and attack Anthony Joshua. Get in there, get in close, throw those hooks, work to the body, fake something upstairs, loop right hands to the body and come upstairs, you know, crashing these punches, land something on AJ. Land something on AJ. Make sure AJ is a guy that is always worried about Francis. That's what Francis should do. Absolutely. And I think for AJ, trying to knock out Francis, that would be a very bold statement. But would I expect that from AJ? No, I don't. I wouldn't. Would I be pleasantly surprised? Hell yeah, I would. You know what I mean? Because everybody's going to throw that in there with what Tyson couldn't do. But I don't expect Anthony Joshua to do something like that because he's set. It's all laid out for him, okay? Beat Ngannou. Now, I know Prince Turki Al-Sheikh would want that, but I don't think that's going to happen with AJ. You know, because, I mean, there's no evidence of him getting hurt to that degree. But then again, this is heavyweight boxing, not heavyweight UFC. The gloves are different and everything else, okay? But it's fire versus fire, but more like fire versus finesse. And AJ should learn how to finesse more. And I think what he's learned and what he was trying to explain to people last year, like, look, I'm not that gung-ho AJ no more, okay? And I honestly think Otto Wallin pissed him off to make him go in there and want to crush him and knock him the hell out and do what he did to him. And he did what he did to him. You know what I mean? Because, you know, Otto was throwing the little slick caps in there and doing this, that, and the other. But, you know, I think that was an incentive for AJ. But should AJ come in this fight like that? Well, he should in spots. He should in spots. Why? Because Francis has to be held accountable. He has to show Francis who he is. He has to show, hey, that right uppercut, that left hook, that jab, that straight right. You know, he has to show him what's what. Okay, this ain't Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou no more. You know, this is AJ versus Ngannou. Okay, versus the Predator. And the Predator will come for his prey. Okay, and he's going to come. Make no mistake about it. You have Mike Tyson, and he's learning, you know, an aggressive style anyway. So I see that all day. The only thing is, I think AJ's better with taller fighters. I think he's better with taller fighters. I think he will be able to see where the shoulder's coming from, the punches that's thrown. Okay, and I think AJ should comfortably win this fight with maybe a couple scares of the immense power of Francis Ngannou. Will there be knockdowns? Maybe, but I don't really bank on that unless it's coming on Ngannou's side to AJ. Because I think the only way Ngannou beats AJ is to knock him out. I don't think he outboxes him at all. I think he has to go in there and take AJ out. Okay? Because, see, even if he doesn't and it's a close fight, who's to say, because the last fight was in Saudi Arabia, right? Who's to say that would be the same case? That you got another guy that had a quote-unquote moral victory, and it's like, okay, I still don't get the nod, but I gave this guy one hell of a fight. I might have even dropped him once or twice, but I still didn't get the fight. You know, that could happen. So I think if Ngannou realizes that, hey, I have to do more than I did with Tyson Fury, it will be a much more challenging fight for Anthony Joshua. Okay? And it should be. Francis should be more aggressive. Francis, he should be careful. Keep his hands up. But, you know, I'm sure what he's learned from Mike helped. Okay? But, no, I see Francis Ngannou for a knockout because he doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the skill set. You know, not saying he can't land a punch. I'm not saying that. Anybody could land a punch if they time it right. But that's not really how it's set up. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think AJ is going to box Ngannou all night, and he's going to throw power shots and land power shots to get Ngannou like, hey, I can punch too. Now, I will leave you with this. AJ's been saying stuff like, how does he think I'm not resilient or this, that, and the other? That could get AJ into trouble trying to prove something. Hell, he tried to prove something when he tried to outbox Alexander Usyk because Tyson Fury and others said that he could not. So I think if he doesn't go down that path of pride and I'll show them type attitude, he should be fine. Okay? A unanimous decision for Anthony Joshua where he goes the distance because I don't see Francis with the durability that he has and the chin of getting stopped. But if he can beat or stop or drop Francis Ngannou, I will be very, very surprised. And you guys will see me hollering at the top of my lungs anyway when we go live that Friday night. You guys tell me what you think of this breakdown between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunching. Peace!